ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon. We are breaking into our streaming coverage to bring you updates on two major stories we're watching right now. I'm Liz Nagy.
And I'm Jory Rand. First, there's the situation playing out right now in Venezuela, where the U.S. military invaded last night, captured President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, and President Trump saying today the U.S. is now running Venezuela. We will have more on this breaking story in just a bit, but first we want to check in on the situation with our local weather. Taking a look outside right now. Ooh. Wet conditions across our weather cameras spread out across Southern California. This is just the latest in a series of winter storms that have been passing through our area since Christmas Eve. This one not as intense as what we've seen over the last week and a half, but this one is bringing some significant rain to our area this afternoon. And once again, we are not done just yet. There is more rain ahead.
And there are evacuation warnings in place for neighborhoods all across LA right now. You see there on your screen a map of some of those evacuation warnings that are still active, primarily in areas surrounding recent burn scar areas, particularly the Topanga Canyon area around Altadena, around the Eaton Fire burn scars.
And just to give you an idea, a warning is obviously different than an evacuation order.
Correct.
This is telling you to just be ready if those hillsides, as we've seen, get too saturated and they give way. It could be a dangerous situation for residents living below. And we have had quite a year now, still within a year of those two major fires we suffered. And there were several others that don't really get as much attention that could lead to some problems when you're talking about 2 solid weeks of rain now.
Well, and of course, the other big concern that we may not even be prepared for is the saturated ground could give way to trees that are just, their roots cannot be upheld by all of the rain that is in the ground right now. But it is not stopping shoppers in Glendale.
This is video from earlier this afternoon outside the Galleria at Americana. Some steady rain falling, but people did come prepared with those umbrellas, covering shopping bags, of course, with umbrellas and raincoats. And we just in California have a new change in our shopping.
No plastic bags.
No plastic bags. It's all paper, and they are being put to the test already. If they get a little wet, they will fail.
You could see that guy there carrying a paper shopping bag out of the grocery store, dealing with that. This is some video from Los Feliz. The rain was coming down pretty good there this afternoon, too. There were plenty of people out and about in the streets running some errands just after the holidays, getting ready to get back to work. But some people appeared to be prepared. Others appeared to walk around with no umbrellas. Certainly, they could not have been caught off guard by this rain since we have been dealing with it for days.
Yeah, and there are some spots where we're seeing standing water on the roadways, always treacherous, and make sure to take care. Let's get a check now of where all the rain is at this hour and what we can expect tonight. Nico Kazori joins us now with the latest. Nico.
Hey, Jory and Liz. Yeah, we're taking a live look at the rain right now. It's coming down hard in some places, but this is a live look at our downtown LA cam, and you can see those rain clouds still hanging around. Temperatures starting to cool down too. We're looking at temperatures around 57 degrees there. Look at our Long Beach cam. You can see those sprinkles on the lens. Temperatures around 58 degrees in Long Beach. One more live look. You can see just a bit of sunshine trying to peek through outside. This is a live look at our Burbank camera, also looking at temperatures in the low to mid 50s. Now, as far as the rain, where it is right now, this is a look at live Mega Doppler 7000, and you can see it's continuing to move further east. And as it continues to move further east, things will start to die down as well. And it's not just the rain that we are looking at. We are looking at a flood advisory. This shade that you see in this lime green color, that's the flood advisory. And I know Liz talked about a little bit earlier too, especially those trees, the soil, they really can't take much rain. They're already susceptible to falling over, not just from all the rain, but also the wind that we are watching too. We're under this wind advisory until 6 o'clock tonight. So we're also tracking some gusty northerly winds anywhere between 20 to 35 miles per hour in this area that you see in this large tan shade. We can see some gusts up to 50 miles per hour in those areas. Now, it's not just the wind and the rain that we are tracking, the flood advisory, wind advisory. We're also under a beach hazard statement. So this shade that you see in this light blue color, we're talking about some elevated surf. We can see some waves up to 6 feet with some local tides up to 7 feet. So if you're in those areas near this light blue shade, just try to stay away from the water if you can, at least the next couple of days. As far as the rain goes, this is what's happening as as we head into the evening, the rain will start to die down. Heading into tomorrow, though, we're tracking another round of showers. It looks like it could get heavier in the morning. This is a look at Sunday around 11 a.m., so things could start to pick up tomorrow morning. We'll see that rain on again and off again throughout the morning into the early afternoon, and then things will get a little bit heavier heading into the early afternoon. We'll track that on again, off again rain, again getting heavy as we head into the evening in some spots in LA County, but then it will continue to move further to the east as we head into the evening, into overnight on Monday. And this is the next thing that we are looking at. So heading into Monday, we were tracking another large system that looked like it was heading our way. Look what happens. It's going to stay offshore as we head into Monday evening into Tuesday. So right now, rain chances for Tuesday don't look as good as they did look earlier in the week. It looks like as we're heading into early next week, we'll start to see those rain chances start to die down because that system, as we just saw, will continue to remain offshore. We'll see if it sticks to that track or not. Lows tonight will be in the 50s. We're tracking 55 in Malibu, 54 in Oxnard tonight, looking at 56 in Inglewood, same thing in Long Beach, Huntington Beach around 57, 55 in Oceanside, and 52 in Temecula. One more day of seeing temperatures and rain in the low to mid 60s. We're going to track that rain heading into tomorrow, and it looks like that rain should finally be out of our area as we head into early Tuesday. But 59 tomorrow in Thousand Oaks, 60 in Malibu, and 57 in Northridge. Here's your 7-day for Los Angeles and Orange County. We're looking at 61 degrees tomorrow for LA and OC, and we're staying with that low to mid 60s trend all week. The system did a really good job keeping us cool and definitely cooling us down. For the valleys and IE, 63 tomorrow. We're looking at another 1 to 2 inches of rain. But as we head into Monday, look at those rain chances start to decrease by midweek, and then toward the end of next week, looks like we should see that sunshine popping back out. So a beautiful week ahead. We just have to get through these next few days of seeing that light to moderate rain. The heaviest of that rain will be heading into tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. After that, rain chances start to die down and the sunshine starts to pop back up. If you're heading to the mountains, some good news for the skiers and snowboarders. We can see some fresh snow these next few days for those higher elevations, 6,000, 7,000 feet and above. And then as we head into the weekend, it's going to be beautiful everywhere. High deserts looking at 55 tomorrow. Palm Springs, 70 degrees, partly cloudy in our desert communities. And we'll start to see that sun pop out Wednesday or Thursday for almost everyone. Jory and Liz.
Okay, Niku, thank you. We've got some bigger problems to talk about in Santa Barbara County, where most of the rain fell this morning, and the 101 near Goleta heavily impacted. Caltrans had to close this portion of the freeway due to mudslides. The agency is sharing these images to social media. You can see dirt, soil, debris covering the roadway. There is no estimate at this hour for reopening that stretch of the 101, but drivers are being told to use Highway 154 as an alternate route.
Part of Topanga Canyon Boulevard is closed again this afternoon. Caltrans closed it last night in anticipation of more possible debris from this round of rain. The stretch of road between PCH and Grandview Drive has already closed several times in the last few weeks and week and a half due to the series of rainstorms we've had. Crews had barely reopened it yesterday morning following the storm on New Year's Eve. The agency did not say when it plans to reopen it this time. And the weather having impacts at the operations at Santa Anita Park today. The racetrack had to cancel all of today's races due to the rain. This is becoming a familiar setup. Santa Anita plans to make up the races Thursday, January 15th. Organizers say they haven't made a decision on Sunday's races just yet. They plan to wait and see how things pan out overnight before making that decision early tomorrow morning. Santa Anita also canceled live racing on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, again due to heavy rainfall. Well, as we continue to cover these storms, scan the code on your screen for everything you need to track the storm and help us cover the wild weather across Southern California. If you can safely record videos or take pictures, please do share them with us. Again, just scan that QR code on your screen to help out. Now to that breaking news happening in South America after the U.S. military operations in Venezuela capturing President Nicolás Maduro. Maduro is now in U.S. custody and on U.S. soil this evening. Today, President Trump announced that the U.S. will run Venezuela, at least temporarily, and tap its vast oil reserves. President Trump posted this image on his social media page with the caption, "Nicolás Maduro on board the USS Iwo Jima." We are now learning Mr. Trump watched from Mar-a-Lago as multiple explosions and low-flying aircraft were heard around 2 a.m. local time in the Venezuelan capital city of Caracas.
The Trump administration says it did not inform Congress of this operation out of fear of information leaking. But for weeks now, the U.S. had been ramping up pressure on Maduro, seizing 2 oil tankers, pursuing a third, and striking alleged drug boat smugglers with missiles. Maduro and his wife have now been charged with drug crimes against the U.S. and conspiracy.
This is video of U.S. agents escorting Maduro and his wife upon their arrival in New York City. You just saw that video just a moment ago. Maduro and other Venezuelan officials were indicted in 2020 on narco-terrorism conspiracy charges, but the Justice Department has now released a new indictment against the couple, painting the regime as a, quote, corrupt, illegitimate government fueled by a drug trafficking operation that flooded the U.S. with cocaine. Newly inaugurated mayor of New York City, Zoran Mandami, posted to social media saying he disagrees with the invasion and is monitoring the jailing of Maduro in his city.
Questions, of course, rising now whether Trump did this because of drugs or whether he did this because of oil. Oil was the main reason that the president himself gave today, and of course he has pardoned drug traffickers in the past rather than continue to prosecute them while now having Nicolás Maduro in custody. In that video, you got a sneak preview of Union del Barrio, the Community Self-Defense Coalition, and other local organizations hosting a rally today to condemn the president's invasion and takeover. This hands-off Venezuela rally was one of many under the same name across the country today. At the top of their list of demands was that the U.S. free Venezuelan President Maduro. They called Trump's threat of the U.S. controlling Venezuela a, quote, psychological war. The groups also made it known they support the Bolivarian Revolution, the socialist-leaning movement started by Hugo Chavez in 1999 and carried on by Maduro. That certainly will be questioned. Meantime, local Venezuelans are sharing a different opinion on Maduro's capture. We spoke with multiple L.A. residents who lived in Venezuela on why they prefer uncertainty over the country's future compared to Maduro's rule.
It is uncertain, but it is, even whatever happens, it's gonna be better than what it was. That's what everybody's thinking. Like, nothing can be worse than what they were going through before this happened. So now we have Maria Corina Machado. Everybody has their trust in her, and she's doing great. Like, she just got the Nobel Peace Prize, and she just keeps going, and she is actually doing what she promised. She said, I'm gonna help Venezuela become free. And we see it, like, it's not just words, we see actions.
I think it was the only option that we really had, since Venezuelan people were not allowed to own guns and protect themselves, and we couldn't really fight against them, against the regime in Venezuela. So the only option was intervention from the US, so we really support what Donald Trump has done.
Why we are so happy? Because we've been in jail for so many years. We've been in this country, my country in Venezuela, can you imagine, is no food, he control everything. We be controlled by these people, not only him, Diosdado Cabello, and everybody is around him. We cry because now somebody do something. This president is the first president. They do something. We don't know what is going to happen, but at least this is the first step. It's hope for every Venezuelan. This is a hope.
Well, those are just the words and opinions of a few local Venezuelans living here in Los Angeles. They expressed optimism about what happened in their native country and what it means for the country's future. But we also spoke to Professor Miguel Tinker Salas from Pomona College. He is also a Venezuelan historian. Here's what he had to say about what occurred.
I think there's a big distinction between those who are supporting Maduro and those who are against U.S. intervention. There's a strong tendency in Venezuela, a strong trend, a strong position in Venezuela to be critical of Maduro, to want his ouster, but to be against the U.S. intervention. This creates a wound in Venezuelan society that will not heal overnight. This was an armed incursion, invasion of a country. Let's not mince words about it. The president can call it whatever he wants. This was an armed invasion of a foreign country by U.S. military forces. They can kidnap a president, but they don't control a country. And the real issue here is what will be the future of Venezuela and what is best for Venezuelans. Once the party's over, what happens to the country? What happens to the people? What happens to its resources? Who controls them, right? Venezuela has the largest deposit of oil in the world. I was saying for a long time, this was not about oil. It turns out I was wrong. Trump proved me wrong. It is about oil. It is about power. It is about U.S. hegemony. It is about keeping Russia and China out. And that's what this is about.
A lot of geopolitical uncertainty this afternoon and concerns about what happens in the so-called day after.
Right. Who's going to control the oil? And President Trump mentioned he wants it to be the U.S. and U.S. billionaires who are going to come in there and take over, rebuild the infrastructure, and do, he has mentioned in the past the U.S. being kicked out, ExxonMobil getting kicked out of Venezuela as they privatized, as they opened up private business. The government took over the oil industry decades ago, and President Trump obviously upset. You heard him say, you can kidnap a president. So that's how that historian is terming this. The president, the United States, has kidnapped the president of Venezuela. Now, there is some question about Maria Corina Machado. She, by all accounts, won the election in Venezuela. Maduro negated the results. She has fled the country. She is not in Venezuela as of now. By most accounts, you heard those native Venezuelans. They want to see Machado come back and take over and run their country. President Trump today said, quote, I think it'd be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
We should also note that she won the Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts for her opposition efforts in Venezuela.
Right. So again, we'll see how this plays out. As that historian notes, and many others are saying, it is about the oil. This isn't about the drugs. This isn't about humanitarian efforts. It's going to be who controls the oil. We'll see what President Trump and the oil companies, the U.S. oil companies, do moving forward. And
here in Southern California, we're going to continue to keep an eye on all of that rain that is moving through our area right now heading into the Inland Empire area. So if anything major happens with that, we'll be sure to bring it to you right here on the stream.
For now, that's going to wrap up our latest on those two major stories we're covering on this Saturday.
We'll continue to monitor both the rain and the situation unfolding in Venezuela, as we mentioned, and we'll come back on our streaming channel as needed. And of course, we'll update you on the very latest on Eyewitness News tonight at 11. Have a good Saturday night.
This has been breaking news on Eyewitness News. Get alerted first.